From the outer rim worlds to the crowded core systems, star systems fell one by one to the unstoppable power of the Vorak dominion. The Vorak were a species bred for war, their fleets vast and merciless, their soldiers ruthless and unyielding. Entire civilizations vanished overnight, their planets left as smoking husks. No one could stand against them. Inside the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, leaders of countless alien races gathered. The chamber was shaped like a colossal sphere with hovering platforms circling a central podium. Each platform carried a delegation representing a different world or species. Panic and fear hung heavy in the air. The Vorak have destroyed the Trellis Alliance. A silver-scaled diplomat shouted, his voice shaking. 3 systems gone, in less than a day. We must act before they come for us. They cannot be stopped. Another alien hissed, its multiple eyes blinking rapidly. We have sent fleets. We have sent armies. They crush everything we put in their path. The counselors argued and shouted, their voices rising into chaos. Some begged for unity. Others demanded surrender to the Vorak, hoping for mercy. But deep down, every being in the chamber knew the truth. Mercy was something the Vorak did not understand. At last, the High Speaker, a tall, ancient alien with crystalline skin, struck his staff against the floor. The sound echoed like thunder, silencing the crowd. There is one option left, the High Speaker said in a slow, measured voice. One hope we have not yet called upon. The council chamber went still. Everyone knew what he was about to say. Humans. The word itself carried weight. It was spoken rarely, almost like a curse or a prayer. The galaxy knew little about humanity, only whispers and old legends. Centuries ago, humans had fought a war unlike anything ever seen. During that dark age, they had built machines of unimaginable power, machines that could destroy fleets, shatter planets, and burn star systems to ash. These creations were called the Titan-class war machines. When the war ended, humanity disappeared into isolation, sealing itself away from the rest of the galaxy. The machines were never seen again. In the centuries since, most civilizations had convinced themselves that humanity was a myth, or at least a relic of the past. But the Vorak's rise brought those old fears roaring back to life. A trembling counselor finally spoke. Humans are dangerous. If we ask for their help, they may destroy us when the Vorak are gone. There are stories of what their machines did. We face extinction, the High Speaker replied. The Vorak will not stop. Would you rather be slaves or ashes? I say we take the risk. I say we send envoys to Earth. The debate raged on, but fear eventually forced a decision. The Council would reach out to humanity, though many delegates whispered that it might be the last mistake they ever made. Far away, at the edge of a silent star system, a moon hung in darkness. Its surface was rough and lifeless, but deep beneath, the ground, there was movement. Hidden under layers of rock and metal, a vast human base thrummed with energy. Commander Elias Varen stood before a massive viewing window, staring at the distant stars. He was a tall man with sharp eyes and a calm, steady presence. Around him, holographic displays showed fleet movements and star maps filled with red warnings. A young officer approached and saluted. Commander, we've received a priority signal from the outer listening posts. The Vorak have crossed into outer boundary Sector 7. They're moving closer to human space. Elias didn't speak at first. His jaw tightened and his hands clenched behind his back. For centuries, humanity had remained hidden, watching the galaxy from the shadows. The other civilizations thought humans had grown weak, that they were a fading species. That belief had kept the galaxy safe from humans, but now the Vorak were pushing too close. Prepare the vault, Elias said finally, his voice quiet, but filled with iron. The officer's eyes widened. Sir, the vault? Are you certain? Do it, Elias said. It's time. Moments later, Elias rode a heavy lift deep into the core of the moon base. As he descended, the air grew colder, the lights dimmer. Finally, the lift stopped before 2 enormous metal doors, covered in ancient warning symbols. Guards stood at attention, their faces pale. Few had ever been allowed to see what lay beyond. Elias placed his hand on a scanner. Alarms blared as the doors slowly began to open. The sound of grinding metal filled the cavern. A deep vibrating hum echoed through the tunnels as ancient systems stirred to life. When the doors fully opened, Elias stepped into a colossal underground hangar. Rows upon rows of Titan-class war machines stood silently in the darkness. Some were humanoid in shape, towering like metal giants. Others were massive starships bristling with weapons. Their armor gleamed black and silver, etched with runes of old wars. Even dormant, they radiated power and menace. Decades of dust covered their surfaces, but as the hangar's lights came on, faint red glows flickered within their cores. It was like walking through a graveyard of sleeping gods. Elias felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He had studied these machines his entire life, but seeing them awakened something primal: fear, awe, and responsibility. An engineer approached nervously. "Commander, are you sure we want to awaken them? The last time these machines fought, entire sectors burned. Billions died." Elias stared up at the nearest Titan, a machine shaped like a knight of war, its eyes dark and empty. "If we do nothing," Elias said, "the Vorak will destroy everything. The Council will fall. The galaxy will be ruled by tyrants. Humanity swore never to unchain these machines again, but promises mean nothing if we're all dead." The engineer hesitated, then nodded. "Understood, sir." "Begin activation." "Sequence," Elias ordered. Technicians rushed to control panels, entering codes that hadn't been used in centuries. Power conduits roared to life. The ground trembled as energy surged through the hangar. One by one, the Titan's eyes flickered open, glowing like burning coals. The sound that followed was like a chorus of metal voices awakening from a long slumber. Back in the Galactic Council, envoys prepared to depart for Earth. They were terrified, but desperation gave them courage. "Do you think the humans will agree to help us?" one alien whispered to another. "They will help," came the grim reply. "But I fear the cost. If they unleash their machines again, the galaxy may survive the Vorak, only to fall under human rule." Far away, on the hidden moon base, Elias watched as the first Titan took its first step. The ground shook as the machine's massive foot slammed down, leaving a crater in the reinforced floor. "Status?" Elias asked. "All systems functional," a technician reported, awe in his voice. "The Titan is fully operational, awaiting orders." Elias raised his head, his voice carrying through the hangar. "Wake them all, every last one. The galaxy has forgotten what it means to fear us. It's time they remember." The hangar filled with blinding light as hundreds of Titans powered up at once. The sound was deafening, a thunderous roar of engines and weapon systems coming online. As the activation continued, Elias stood apart from his officers, deep in thought. He remembered the stories his grandfather had told him about the last great war, when humans had nearly destroyed themselves and the galaxy with their creations. The Titans were not just machines. They were symbols of humanity's greatest strength and greatest sin. "Will we become monsters again?" he whispered to himself. He knew there was no turning back now. The Vorak threat left no room for hesitation or regret. Humanity would either rise and dominate, or vanish like countless other civilizations before them. Meanwhile, in a Vorak war chamber, the Dominion's leaders studied star maps filled with glowing red markers. "Our scouts report human space is undefended," a Vorak general said with a cruel laugh. "These humans are nothing but myths and cowards. Their time has passed." The Vorak Supreme Warlord leaned forward, his spiked armor gleaming. "Then we will crush them like insects. Once Earth falls, the galaxy will be ours." Back on the Yao moonbase, the last Titan awoke. Its towering frame dwarfed even the others, its core pulsing with a deep crimson light. Elias stepped forward, staring up at the machine. His voice was calm but cold, filled with resolve. "Transmit a message to all human colonies," he said. "Tell them the chains are broken. Humanity goes to war." As the Titans marched in unison, their footsteps shaking the earth. Elias added, "One final order. Prepare for deployment. When the Vorak arrive, they will learn the true meaning of fear." The camera of a distant drone caught the sight of hundreds of war machines rising from the moon's surface, silhouetted against the stars. The image would soon spread across the galaxy, striking terror into every heart that saw it. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy began to remember why humanity had chained its war machines in the first place. Cliffhanger. Elias stared into the dark void of space and whispered, "Let the galaxy tremble." The galaxy had no idea what was coming. While the Galactic Council debated endlessly, humanity worked in silence. On a dozen hidden bases scattered across the outer systems, Titan-class war machines were awakening. Engines roared like thunder, metal giants marched in perfect formation, and automated starships powered up, their sleek black hulls glowing with red lines of energy. Commander Elias Varon stood on a high observation deck, watching as the first wave of Titans prepared for deployment. The machines moved with unnerving precision, every step synchronized, every motion calculated. They were not just weapons. They were symbols of an old promise, humanity's vow to never be helpless again. Beside Elias, his second in command, Captain Mara Jansen, stared at the scene with wide eyes. "I still can't believe we're doing this," she said quietly. "These machines were supposed to stay buried forever." Elias's face was calm, but his eyes were hard. "Forever ended the moment the Vorak crossed into our territory. We stayed hidden for centuries. We watched the galaxy fight its little wars and collapse its petty empires. But this is different. The Vorak won't stop until every star is under their rule." "And when we defeat them?" Mara asked, turning to face him. "What then? The Council is terrified of us already. If we unleash the Titans, the other civilizations will see us as a greater threat than the Vorak." Elias didn't answer at first. He simply stared out at the Titans, their massive silhouettes lined up like an army of sleeping gods. "We'll deal with the Council later," he said at last. "Right now, our mission is survival." Far away, on the shining world of Lothriel Prime, the Galactic Council gathered again. Their grand chamber was filled with tense voices and fearful whispers. The envoys they had sent to Earth had not returned. Communication had been completely silent. "This is a mistake," one alien leader hissed, its many tentacles writhing nervously. "Humans are too dangerous. If they still have those machines, they could destroy us all." Another leader snapped back. "And what choice do we have? The Vorak fleets outnumber ours 10-1. Our best weapons barely scratch their armor. If humanity does nothing, we are finished." The High Speaker raised his staff, silencing them. "We must have faith that the humans understand the balance of power. They will act carefully." As if mocking his words, a messenger drone arrived at that very moment. It projected a star map in the center of the chamber, showing Vorak fleets, pushing deeper into neutral space. "They are advancing faster than expected," the messenger announced. "2 more systems have fallen. Refugee ships are fleeing in every direction. There are reports of entire populations being eradicated." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some shouted for surrender. Others demanded desperate action. Deep down, none of them knew the truth, that humanity was already preparing to strike. On the hidden moon base, engineers worked tirelessly to bring ancient systems online. The Titan-class war machines were being paired with human pilots and advanced AIs, creating deadly combinations of human instinct and machine precision. One machine in particular drew everyone's attention. Juggernaut, a towering Titan built for frontline combat. Its armor was thick enough to withstand orbital bombardment, and its weapons could tear through entire fleets. Captain Mara oversaw its final systems check. "Juggernaut is ready," she reported. "All primary weapons, online, power levels stable. It's fully combat ready." Elias nodded. "Good. Deploy it with the first strike group." Mara hesitated. "You know this will terrify the galaxy, right? Once they see what we've been hiding, they need to be terrified," Elias interrupted. The Vorak need to understand what happens when they threaten us. And the Council needs to remember why we chained these machines in the first place. The Vorak Dominion, unaware of what humanity was preparing, gathered its forces near a neutral star system known as Vexar Reach. Their warships filled the void, dark silhouettes against the glowing nebulae. On the bridge of the flagship, the Vorak, Supreme Warlord, snarled. His spiked armor rattled as he paced. "We will crush this system as a warning," he growled. "When the humans see what happened here, they will know fear. Then we will march on their homeworld and end their species forever." His generals bowed and obeyed. The Vorak believed humans were weak and outdated. They had no idea what awaited them. The first strike came without warning. As the Vorak fleet prepared to bombard the planets of Vexar Reach, space itself seemed to tear open. Black rifts appeared, and from them emerged hundreds of automated human warships, their hulls shining like obsidian mirrors. The ships moved in perfect formation, their engines silent, their weapons glowing faint red. Vorak commanders shouted in confusion. "Unknown fleet detected, identify yourselves." No answer came. Instead, the human ships opened fire in complete unison. Beams of energy sliced through Vorak vessels like knives through paper. Entire formations were vaporized in seconds. The human warships did not hesitate, did not falter. They fought like a single mind, every shot precise and devastating. The Vorak tried to fight back, but their weapons barely scratched the humans' advanced armor. Panic spread through their ranks, and then the Titans arrived. Juggernaut descended from orbit, its massive frame blazing with light. When it landed on a Vorak battleship, the entire vessel buckled and broke apart beneath its weight. With a single swing of its arm-mounted blade, Juggernaut cleaved through 3 more ships, sending burning debris spiraling into space. On the ground below, other Titans deployed, crushing Vorak armies with overwhelming force. Their footsteps made the very earth tremble. Alien refugees watching from hidden shelters could only stare in shock. For generations, they had heard whispers of human war machines. Now, they saw the terrifying truth. One alien survivor whispered to another. The stories were real. The humans, they're monsters. Back aboard his command ship, Elias watched the battle unfold on holographic displays. The Vorak fleet was collapsing faster than he had predicted. "Status?" he asked calmly. "Enemy losses catastrophic," an officer reported. "They're retreating in multiple directions. Our casualties are minimal." Elias gave a single nod. "Transmit a message to all Vorak ships." Moments later, every Vorak vessel received a simple transmission. Elias's face appeared, cold and unyielding. "This is Commander Elias Varon of the Terran Defense Force," he said. "The chains are broken. Leave human space, or face extinction." The message ended without further explanation. The Vorak were silent for a moment, stunned. Then their ships began retreating in chaos, fleeing deeper into their own territory. News of the battle reached the Galactic Council within hours. Holographic images of the destruction played across the chamber. Vorak wreckage floated lifelessly in space, while Titans marched across the surface of Vexar Reach. Entire Vorak armies had been wiped out in less than a day. The counselors were horrified. "They destroyed an entire fleet," one alien gasped. "In a single strike," another trembled. "The Vorak are monsters, but this is worse. Humanity is unstoppable." The high speaker tried to calm them, but even he looked shaken. "We asked for their help," he said quietly. "We cannot complain about the price now." But privately, many counselors began plotting. If the humans could do this to the Vorak, they could do it to anyone. In the ruins of the Vorak fleet, a single enemy ship drifted in darkness. A captured Vorak admiral was dragged before Elias by human soldiers. The creature hissed and spat, its glowing eyes filled with hatred. "You think you've won?" it snarled. "You humans are worse than us. You build machines with no soul. No mercy. You are not saviors, you are monsters wearing flesh." Elias stared down at the creature, his expression unreadable. "Perhaps," he said calmly. "But remember this, we only fight when provoked. You brought war to our doorstep. Now you face the consequences. He turned away, leaving the Vorak to be taken to the interrogation cells. As the human fleet regrouped, Mara approached Elias. The council won't like this, she warned. They're already afraid of us when they see what we've done here. They'll have to live with it, Elias said. We didn't fight this battle to make them comfortable. We fought it to protect our people. But what if they unite against us after the Vorak are gone? Mara asked. Elias glanced at the holographic display of the human fleet, its vast power now fully revealed. If they do, he said coldly, they'll regret it. Far across the galaxy, the Vorak, Supreme Warlord, received the news of his fleet's destruction. His rage shook the walls of his war chamber. Humans, he roared. They dare challenge us? Then we will crush them with everything we have. He slammed his fist on the table, issuing orders to assemble the full might of the Dominion. The next battle will not be one they can win, he promised. On the moon base, Elias stood alone, staring at the stars. He knew the Vorak would not give up so easily. This is only the beginning, he whispered. Behind him, Juggernaut and the other Titans stood ready, their glowing eyes reflecting the distant starlight. Elias clenched his fist. When they return, we'll show them what true war looks like. Cliffhanger ending. In the darkness of space, a vast Vorak fleet gathered, more massive than anything the galaxy had ever seen. And in response, humanity prepared to unchain even more deadly machines, hidden deeper than anyone had ever imagined. Whispers of humanity's sudden attack spread like wildfire through every star system. News networks replayed shaky holographic recordings of the battle at Vexar Reach, showing towering Titan-class war machines tearing through Vorak fleets like they were made of paper. To many it looked less like a battle, and more like the awakening of ancient gods. Across the stars, fear grew, not only of the Vorak, but also of humanity. The Council had begged for help, but now they feared the saviors they had unleashed. On the shining world of Lothriel Prime, the Galactic Council met once again in their massive chamber. Delegates shouted and argued, their voices echoing in panic. This is madness, a scaled alien roared. The humans destroyed an entire Vorak armada in hours. What happens when they turn their machines on us? They saved Vexar Reach, another protested. If not for them, the Vorak would have wiped out millions. And now humanity has shown us all that they can destroy any of us just as easily, a third hissed. We traded one threat for another. The High Speaker, his crystalline form glowing softly, struck his staff to bring silence. We have no choice, he said firmly. The Vorak will retaliate. Only humanity has the strength to stop them. For now, we must stand together. The words calmed the chamber slightly, but many counselors exchanged worried glances. In their hearts, they were already planning for the day when the humans would need to be stopped. Far from the councils, halls in the cold darkness of space, the Vorak Dominion gathered its remaining fleets. On the command bridge of a massive warship, the Supreme Warlord of the Vorak loomed over a holographic display. His spiked armor gleamed in the dim light as his generals cowered before him. You said the humans were weak, the warlord snarled, his voice a guttural growl. You said they were myths, relics of a forgotten age. Instead, they have humiliated us. One general trembled. My lord, we underestimated their machines. We did not know they... The warlord's clawed hand lashed out, striking the general aside. Enough excuses. Assemble every fleet, every soldier, every weapon. We will burn their worlds. We will erase their species. He leaned forward, his glowing eyes filled with rage. The humans will learn that no one defies the Vorak Dominion. Back on the hidden human moon base, Commander Elias Varen reviewed battle reports. Holographic screens displayed detailed scans of destroyed Vorak ships. His expression remained calm, but his mind was already racing ahead. Captain Mara Jansen entered the room, her face tense. Scouts report massive Vorak fleet movements, she said. They're gathering near the Zirath Nebula. It looks like they're preparing for a counterattack. Elias nodded. As expected, they won't let their defeat at Vexar Reach stand. Mara frowned. Our first strike worked because of surprise. This time they'll be ready. Even with the Titans, we could take heavy losses. Elias turned to face her. Then we won't give them time to prepare. We strike first, hard and fast. Mara hesitated. The Council won't like that. They're already afraid of us. The Council's fear is irrelevant, Elias said coldly. We didn't awaken the Titans to make the Council comfortable. We awakened them to win. Preparations began immediately. In vast hangars, engineers armed and fueled the Titans. Weapons were checked and rechecked. Ammunition bays were filled. Automated drones swarmed over the machines, ensuring every system was perfect. The largest Titan, Juggernaut, stood at the center, its glowing red eyes watching silently. Mara walked alongside Elias, staring up at the towering machines. Every time I see them, I wonder if we've made a mistake, she admitted quietly. They're powerful. Too powerful. Elias didn't look away. Power is only dangerous in the wrong hands. Better these machines serve us than the Vorak. But what happens after the Vorak are gone, she asked. What if the Council decides to fight us next? Elias's voice was calm, but there was an edge to it. Then they will learn the same lesson the Vorak are about to learn. When the human fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Zerath Nebula, the Vorak were ready. Thousands of enemy warships waited, their dark hulls glowing with crimson energy. Massive carrier vessels hovered behind them, preparing to unleash swarms of fighters. On the Vorak flagship, the Supreme Warlord watched with satisfaction. The humans are fools, he growled. They come to us willingly. Crush them. His fleets surged forward like a tidal wave of fire and steel. On the human command ship, Elias stood at the center of a circular control room. Holographic displays surrounded him, showing every Titan and every ship in his fleet. Formation Alpha, he ordered calmly. Human warships moved with machine-like precision, forming a perfect defensive wall. Behind them, Titans stood ready, their weapons glowing with deadly light. Enemy range in 30 seconds, a tactical officer reported. Mara's voice was steady, but her hands clenched tightly behind her back. This is going to be brutal. Elias's expression didn't change. That's why we're here. The battle began with a roar of energy weapons. Vorak ships unleashed volleys of plasma and missiles, filling space with deadly fire. The human fleet responded instantly. Their weapons fired in perfect unison, slicing through enemy formations with frightening accuracy. Titans moved forward, their massive frames absorbing enemy fire that would have destroyed lesser ships. Juggernaut led the charge, plowing through Vorak cruisers like they were made of paper. Its arm-mounted cannon fired once, erasing 3 enemy vessels in a single blast. Vorak fighters swarmed like angry insects, but automated human drones countered them, weaving through the chaos with deadly precision. The void became a storm of light and destruction. As the battle raged, Elias monitored every movement, adjusting tactics with cold precision. Sector 6 is collapsing, Mara warned. We need reinforcements there now. Elias tapped a control panel. Redirect Titan Group Delta. Cut off the Vorak advance before they can flank us. The Titans moved instantly, their enormous forms shifting the tide of battle. Vorak commanders shouted in panic as their fleets were systematically torn apart. On the Vorak flagship, the Supreme Warlord slammed his fists on the command table. They fight like machines, he roared. No hesitation, no weakness. One of his generals shouted, My lord, their Titans are unstoppable. We cannot. The warlord silenced him with a glare. Then we will show them the true power of the Dominion. Deploy the Dreadhammer. From the depths of the Vorak fleet, a colossal warship emerged. It was larger than any Titan, bristling with weapons. Its central cannon glowed with a sickly green light, capable of destroying entire planets. The Dreadhammer fired once. A massive beam of energy tore through space, striking a human battleship. The vessel vanished in an instant, along with everything around it. Mara's eyes widened in horror. They have a superweapon. Elias's voice remained calm. Target the Dreadhammer. All Titans converge on that ship. It dies first. Juggernaut led the assault, its weapons blazing. Other Titans followed, forming a spearhead of destruction. The Dreadhammer fired again, narrowly missing the command ship. The blast illuminated the void like a newborn star. As Titans closed in, Vorak defenders fought desperately to protect their superweapon. The battle reached a fever pitch. Inside Juggernaut's cockpit, pilot Lieutenant Arik Hale gritted his teeth. Almost in range, he muttered, gripping the controls. His Titan's massive cannon locked onto the Dreadhammer's core. Firing sequence ready, the AI intoned in a calm voice. "Do it!" Arik shouted. Juggernaut's cannon fired a blazing beam of energy, striking the Dreadhammer's side. The superweapon shuddered violently, but it didn't fall. "Not enough power," Arik growled. Elias's voice came through the comms. "All Titans, focus fire. Now!" Dozens of Titans unleashed their weapons at once. The combined barrage pierced the Dreadhammer's core, detonating it in a massive explosion. The blast wave ripped through nearby Vorak ships, scattering them like leaves in a storm. The destruction of the Dreadhammer broke the Vorak's will. Their fleets began retreating in chaos. "Pursue them," Elias ordered coldly. "Do not let them regroup." As human ships advanced, Mara stared at the wreckage. "We've won," she breathed. Elias shook his head. "This was only one battle. The Vorak will return with even greater force, and now, the Council will fear us more than ever." Back on Lothriel Prime, the Council received reports of the victory. Holograms showed Titans standing among the wreckage of the Vorak fleet, glowing like gods of war. The councilors were silent, stunned by the display of power. At last one whispered, "The Vorak are doomed, and so are we." The High Speaker closed his eyes. "Pray that humanity remembers mercy." In a dark chamber, a group of alien leaders met in secret. "We cannot allow humanity to dominate the galaxy," one said. "When the Vorak are gone, they will rule us all." "Then we must plan now," another replied. "If we wait, it will be too late." Their plot began to take shape, even as humanity fought for survival. On the human command ship, Elias stood alone, staring out at the stars. The Titans were returning to base, their glowing eyes fading in the distance. Mara approached quietly. "We did it," she said. "We stopped them. For now," Elias said softly. "But victory always comes with a price." He clenched his fists. "The chains are broken. There's no going back." As he spoke, deep, beneath the surface of Mars, an even larger machine stirred, a Titan unlike any other hidden for centuries. Its awakening would change the galaxy forever. The galaxy was no longer the same after the destruction of the Vorak fleet at the border world. Every star system was buzzing with fear. Alien news networks repeated the same words. The humans have unchained their war machines. For many species, those words were enough to bring back ancient nightmares. Some had never seen a human in their lives, but they had all heard the old stories. The Galactic Council's grand chamber was packed. Representatives from hundreds of civilizations were shouting over one another. The tall, crystal-skinned Kalari shouted, "The Vorak were supposed to be the most powerful threat. If humans can destroy them so easily, what hope do the rest of us have?" A short-scaled ambassador from the Zori clicked its mandibles nervously. "We asked the humans for help against the Vorak. We thought they were weak and outdated. Now, they show us monsters made of metal, machines of war that move like living storms." The Supreme Speaker of the Council struck his staff against the floor, silencing the hall. "Order. We must not descend into chaos. Humanity claims to be fighting only the Vorak. They have given us no reason to believe they will turn on the rest of us." But the chamber erupted again, this time with frightened voices. "They will not stop with the Vorak. They will take the galaxy for themselves. We must act before it is too late." The speaker frowned. Deep down, even he did not fully trust the humans. The Council had seen the battle recordings. Hundreds of Vorak ships were destroyed in minutes. Giant humanoid machines, the Titans, stood on burning worlds like gods of death, their glowing eyes scanning for enemies. The machines did not just fight, they hunted. On Mars, the awakening of Leviathan. While the Council argued, humanity was already preparing for the next stage of war. Beneath the red surface of Mars, Commander Elias Varon stood in a massive underground hangar. The ceiling was so high that clouds of mist floated between the steel beams. At the center of the hangar lay a colossal shape, half buried under layers of rusted chains and ancient metal plates. It was the Leviathan, the largest war machine ever built by human hands. Technicians swarmed around it like ants. Some worked on giant engines, others checked rows of glowing control panels. The air vibrated with the hum of enormous power generators. Elias walked forward, his boots echoing on the metal floor. General Harrow, his second-in-command, approached. "Sir, the Leviathan systems are stable. Its reactors are ready to be awakened. But once it activates, there is no turning back." Elias stared at the giant machine. It was shaped like a vast serpent with wings, its armor made of black and silver alloy. Its head alone was the size of a warship. He remembered the old war records. The last time Leviathan had been unleashed, 3 star systems had been wiped from the map in a single day. "We have no choice," Elias said quietly. "The Vorak are preparing their entire Empire fleet. If we do not strike first, they will overrun us." He paused, his voice heavier now. "And the Council, they are already afraid. Some of them may try to betray us. Fear makes rulers desperate." General Harrow nodded grimly. "Do you think the Council will turn against us?" "They will," Elias said, certain. "They fear us as much as the Vorak now. That is why we must finish this war quickly. We will destroy the Vorak, then decide what to do with the Council." With that, Elias gave the order. "Unchain them." Leviathan. Massive magnetic locks released with deep echoing thuds. The floor shook as ancient chains fell away. The Leviathan's eyes lit up with blinding white light, and a low, terrifying sound rumbled from its core. The greatest war machine in human history had awakened once more. The Vorak's desperate plans far across the galaxy. In the heart of the Vorak Dominion, their leader, Supreme Warlord Karun, was in a frenzy of rage. The Vorak had never lost a battle before. Now entire fleets were gone, their worlds burned by machines they did not understand. Karun slammed, his clawed hand onto a holographic table. "The humans are abominations. They fight with machines that do not bleed, do not fear, and do not stop. We will crush them with the full might of the Dominion." His generals hesitated. One finally spoke. "My lord, the machines are beyond our understanding. Even our strongest weapons barely scratch them. We need another plan." Karun's eyes glowed with fury. "Then we will strike at their weakness. These machines are built by humans. Destroy the humans and the machines will fall silent." The Vorak began preparing a surprise attack on a human colony near the edge of their space. It was a small world, lightly defended, filled mostly with families and workers. Karun smiled cruelly. "Let the humans watch their people burn. Let them feel fear, as we have felt fear." The Council's betrayal back at the Galactic Council. Several alien leaders gathered in secret. They spoke in whispers, their faces tense. "If the Vorak fall, the humans will rule the galaxy," one said. "We must ally with the Vorak, or at least sabotage the humans before it is too late." A representative from the Kalari produced a hidden device. "This virus can disrupt the humans' machine control network. If we upload it into their systems, their titans will turn against them." Another leader trembled. "But if we are caught," the Kalari narrowed his crystal blue eyes. "We will not be caught. We do this for the safety of the galaxy. The humans must never be allowed to rise unchecked." They agreed. A secret plot had begun, one that would strike at humanity from within. The attack on Vespera colony, Elias was aboard the human flagship Resolute when the emergency call came in. A terrified voice screamed over the comms. "Commander, this is Vespera colony. The Vorak are here. Thousands of ships. Our defenses are falling. We need help." Elias's face hardened. "Set a course for Vespera. Maximum speed," he ordered. The Resolute and a fleet of Titans jumped through hyperspace, But when they arrived, the colony was already burning. Cities were in flames. Civilian transports were fleeing into orbit, chased by Vorak fighters. Elias felt a cold fury rise within him. "Destroy them all," he said. His war machines descended like a storm, cutting through the Vorak fleet with brutal precision. But it was too late for many of the colonists. Thousands were dead, their homes turned to ash. As the battle ended, Elias stood on the surface of the ruined colony. General Harrow approached carefully. "Sir, the Vorak are sending a message. They claim this is only the beginning. They say the next attack will strike Earth itself." Elias's hands clenched. "No mercy," he said in a low voice. "No retreat. We will end this war now." The final preparation. In the aftermath of the Vespera massacre, humanity moved with terrifying speed. The Titans were deployed in greater numbers than ever before. Entire shipyards worked day and night to construct more automated war fleets. Elias stood before his soldiers and engineers. "Today, the Vorak believe they have broken our spirit," he said. "But they have only awakened our wrath. Tomorrow we march into the heart of their empire. We will crush them so completely that no enemy will ever dare threaten humanity again." The soldiers roared in agreement. Even the massive war machines seemed to hum louder, as if they too felt the rage of their masters. Cliffhanger as the humans prepared for their final strike. The secret virus created by the Council's traitors was smuggled into the network that controlled the Titans. Hidden deep within the code, it waited, silent and deadly. On a distant Council world, the Kalari representative received a signal. "The virus is in place. When the humans launch their final attack, their own machines will turn on them." Kalari smiled coldly. "The humans will destroy themselves and the galaxy will be free." But far away, aboard the Resolute, Elias looked at the Leviathan and whispered to himself, "They think they understand fear. They have no idea what is coming." The stars outside the window burned bright as if they too sensed the storm about to come. To be continued. After weeks of chaos, humanity's fleets and Titans had destroyed Vorak forces across countless star systems. Entire armadas fell before the precise fury of human war machines. Yet the galaxy itself seemed to tremble, not from the Vorak's terror, but from the rise of humanity. On the surface of Mars, Commander Elias Varon surveyed the preparations for the final strike. The Leviathan stood at the center of the massive hangar, its wings stretching higher than any human structure ever built. Its red and white eyes glowed like twin suns. Hundreds of Titans lined the hangar, ready to deploy into orbit. Even the soldiers, hardened by years of war, felt awe and fear. "Sir," Captain Mara Jansen said quietly, "we have detected Vorak fleets gathering near the Korvax sector. They've built a massive defensive station. It's larger than anything we've faced." Elias's face was calm, his eyes steely. "Good. That is where we end it. They have pushed the galaxy to the edge. Now it is our turn to strike." He paused, looking up at the Leviathan. "Prepare to awaken the final weapon. Humanity does not fight to survive alone. We fight to protect all who seek freedom. And we fight to make the galaxy remember that humans are not to be underestimated." Then, Council's betrayal revealed. While humanity readied for war, the secret plot within the Galactic Council began to unfold. On a hidden station, the Kalari and their co-conspirators activated the virus that had been secretly uploaded into the human war network. "This will cripple their Titans," the Kalari said, his crystalline eyes glowing with anticipation. "When they approach the Korvax sector, their own machines will turn on them. Humanity will destroy itself before the Vorak are defeated." A small-scaled diplomat hesitated. "And the civilians? The colonists?" The Kalari ignored the question. "Collateral. Damage is acceptable if it stops humans from ruling the galaxy. Their war machines must never be free again." Meanwhile, deep in the Leviathan's core, the virus began its silent infiltration. But Elias was not unaware. He had anticipated such treachery. Hidden systems, unknown even to the Council, monitored every Titan and every warship. The virus would not succeed. The battle begins at the edge of the Korvax sector. Vorak fleets waited. Thousands of warships bristling with energy weapons formed a massive defensive formation around the planetary station. The Dreadhammer-class vessels patrolled the outer rings, ready to annihilate any approaching enemy. Elias activated the Leviathan. Its massive engines roared to life, shaking the ground and sending tremors across Mars. Leviathan operational, the AI intoned. All systems green, awaiting combat deployment orders. Deploy all Titans, Elias commanded. Synchronize fleet movements. This battle ends now. As the human fleet jumped from hyperspace, the Vorak were ready. Massive beams of energy tore through space, striking at human ships. Fighters swarmed like angry hornets, but the Titans moved like gods of war. Their massive forms absorbed blasts that would have destroyed entire ships. Juggernaut led the charge, its weapons slicing through Vorak cruisers with surgical precision. The Leviathan rose into orbit, its massive wings unfurling. Each movement caused the vacuum of space to vibrate with power. Its cannons glowed brighter than a small star, and its missile launchers opened like the jaws of a predator. The turning point, the Vorak launched their first massive counterattack. Energy beams streaked across the void. Super heavy missiles targeted the Titans. Entire human destroyers were engulfed in explosions, but Elias remained calm. Maintain formation. Focus fire on the Dreadhammer vessels first. Take out their command. Juggernaut. Fired, hitting 3 Vorak command ships simultaneously. The explosions rippled through the enemy fleet, sowing panic. The Leviathan aimed its primary cannon at the largest Vorak battleship, a massive dreadnought bristling with weapons. One shot shattered the vessel's hull entirely, sending fragments spinning into space. The Vorak began to retreat, but Elias would not allow it. Pursue and annihilate every ship, leave none to regroup. Council treachery. Fails deep in the network, the Council's virus began to activate. Alerts flashed across consoles as some Titans experienced temporary malfunctions. Arms stopped mid-motion, weapons froze in place. Mara rushed to Elias. "Sir, the virus is activating. It's corrupting some Titans. We could lose control." Elias did not flinch. Activate the hidden subroutines. Override manual control. The virus was anticipated. Humanity never leaves a trap unchecked. The AI systems of the Leviathan spread the counter-virus through the network. Within seconds, every Titan and fleet vessel regained full control. The Council's plan had failed. Their betrayal had been uncovered. The Vorak's last stand, Karun, the supreme warlord of the Vorak, watched in disbelief as his fleets crumbled. "Impossible," he roared. "These humans, they're machines. They are not mortal. They are gods." He commanded his flagship to fire a massive planetary cannon at the Leviathan. The weapon's energy beam would have destroyed an entire continent. The Leviathan's massive form braced itself. Its shield systems flared, absorbing the blast. The energy dispersed harmlessly into orbit. With a deafening roar, the Leviathan fired back, its primary cannon striking Karun's flagship. The Vorak warship shattered in a spectacular explosion. The remaining Vorak ships attempted to flee, but the Leviathan's missile arrays and Titans cut them down methodically. Every attempt to regroup ended in destruction. Karun finally realized defeat. His claws dug into the control panels as his ship was obliterated by Juggernaut. The Vorak had been crushed, their empire shattered in a single day. Humanity triumphs. As the final Vorak ships fell, the human fleet regrouped. Titans stood across planets and space stations, their glowing eyes scanning for threats. The Leviathan hovered above Mars, its wings folding slowly. Its cannon cooled and a low hum radiated across the planet. Elias walked among his soldiers, his face calm but exhausted. "The war is over," he said. "The Vorak will never threaten the galaxy again. Humanity has ensured that freedom remains." Mara approached. "And the Council?" she asked. "They tried to betray us." "They will remember who commands the Titans," Elias replied. "No one will dare challenge humanity again. Not the Council, not the Vorak, not anyone." Across the galaxy, messages were sent. Every civilization learned the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was unstoppable. Aftermath on Lothriel Prime, the Galactic Council met once more. They were shaken. Their secret plot had failed. They had underestimated the humans, and the galaxy now feared them more than any other species. The High Speaker raised his staff. "The Vorak are no more," he said. "Humanity has saved countless lives. But their power, we must respect it. The galaxy has changed forever." Some counselors muttered about alliances, others about restrictions. But deep down, they knew the truth. Humanity's war machines had made them untouchable. A galaxy remembers. Across the stars, survivors of the Vorak on countless worlds told tales of the humans who had arrived like gods of war. Titan-class war. Machines, they whispered. Juggernaut, Leviathan, machines that move with purpose and kill with precision. Stories spread, legends grew. The galaxy learned a lesson that no civilization would ever forget. Humans were not weak. They were not to be underestimated. And when they fought, the stars themselves cried out. Epilogue. A new dawn on Mars. Elias and Mara stood on the observation deck watching the Leviathan descend slowly back into its hangar. Titans returned to their stations. The battle was won. Mara spoke quietly. "Do you think it is finally over?" Elias looked out at the stars, still glowing from the battle. "For the Vorak, yes, but the galaxy will never be the same. Fear and respect will follow humanity everywhere we go." He paused, his hand resting on the Leviathan's armor. "We fought to protect life, and now the galaxy knows what it means to face humanity." Mara nodded. "And they will never forget." Elias's voice dropped to a whisper as he stared into the cosmos. "Let them remember. Let every species know. Humanity rises only when threatened, and when we rise, the universe itself trembles." The stars seemed to shine brighter that night, as if the galaxy itself had witnessed the power of humanity unchained. The war was over. The Vorak were gone. Humanity had claimed its place among the stars, and the legend of the Titans, Juggernaut, and Leviathan would echo forever across the galaxy.